Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon. This afternoon is we're going to have a loaded Tuesday show for you today. Going to talk a lot of Razorback fall camp, but of course we're going to have our heavy hitters presented by HD Roofing and Construction. We'll also get into our summer topics of conversation presented by Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas. We'll have a vibe checking of the chat presented by Basis Health, your alumni hall question of the day, and get into all the various topics going on in the sports world. But fellas, it's a Tuesday, another day of fall camp, another day of press conferences we're going to dive into. How are the vibes today?
Vibes are strong. Yeah, the vibes are pretty strong here. I'm getting used to this whole balancing act thing that we're doing. Last night, I don't know if I told you guys this or not, went and took some baby bump pictures. I didn't know that was a thing, but apparently you do it. And so my job was just like to put my hand on Michelle's belly or whatever, and they've taken pictures. So we did that tonight. We got baby classes because we didn't get to go a couple weekends ago. And then in between, it's all Razorback sports. And it's kind of a good mix here. I'm liking it. I'm feeling good.
Real quick, Andrew, sorry, real quick. Did you have to like shave your hands or like put lotion on to like make sure your hands look great in that picture?
I did put lotion on because I go out and run so much. I feel like I'm constantly dehydrated. So I get like the dry knuckles or whatever. So yeah, I was lathered up before we got started there, and I was still noticing it. The photographer didn't say anything, but I was like, damn, man, I hope she filters that out a little bit.
Did you get a little kiss in the belly picture?
That's like the one thing we didn't do. I thought about that late last night. I had a little bit of everything else. We got some cool little Nike sneakers that we were propping up on the bump there, and had my boy dad hat, which I'm wearing that right now. We had a lot going on, but that was the one thing we didn't do that I thought after the fact, like, damn, we kind of missed the boat there.
I honestly, Curtis, you should have told me this before. I have all these ideas now popping up. I feel like you should have just painted her belly orange like a basketball, and you could have held it. Like, or like painted like Pot at the Palace on it, like a logo right there, and just been like, you had some opportunities for some branding here, man. Come on.
I know. I'll do better next time. If there's a baby too, we'll get it right.
Yeah. Well, while you're over here worrying about the birth of your child and all that, I'm over here covering the Nick Perry press conference, which was thrilling, exhilarating. And I will say, Nick Perry, of course, young guy, energetic. He did a great job in his first press conference. It's always a little bit, I don't know if they view it that way. I would be nervous just knowing the Arkansas media and how they're vultures. I would be a little bit nervous going to my first press conference as a Razorback coach. But I thought Nick Perry did a good job. And I predict we're guaranteed, and Curtis, people love to do this. We're going to get this guy seems like a future head coach. He's well-spoken, man. I could say, who's opposed to him being the DC under T Will and then taking over a head coach? Like, we're gonna get that because of he did a good job at the press conference. But excited to talk about some Razorback corners today.
Love it.
And all it takes is just one guy getting burned against Ole Miss, and suddenly this guy sucks. Can't you get about? Why do we hire this guy? I mean, it's going to be the way it is. But because I do want to talk about the cornerbacks themselves, but you mentioned the press conference, Andrew. You were able to check it out. A pretty short one, comparatively speaking, but. Anything stand out to you? I know we'll have the press conference posted later on Inside Arkansas on our YouTube page, but anything stand out to you as far as anything said from him?
We didn't get a ton of we a lot of times we're looking for like the players that the coaches are going to come to the press conference raving about. And we got a little bit of that. I mean, Julian Neal seems to be the most popular guy in the secondary these days. I mean, he's been on campus for like 4 days, already running with the ones. Seems like they really feel like they found something there in the portal there. But when I think about the group overall, again, there's so much unknown with the position group because we don't really, a lot of these guys are transfers and they're replacing transfers from last year, new position coach and everything. So there's not really a ton of like easy apples to apples comparisons to make. But the thing that really, I think when Nick Perry got hired and we saw he's from Alabama, he's from Seattle, the first thing that went to my mind was thinking about Seattle Seahawks defensive backs back in the day, like Richard Sherman, these long, rangy guys that I feel like about 10 years ago made this, like that became the cool thing for corners. Like, oh, we want these 6'2", 190 long guys. If you look at Arkansas's room and the heights and weights of their defensive backs, especially in the corner section, there's a lot of length there. And of course, they like the depth in their room, but I think that's kind of the model they've gone after. Selman Bridges is a guy 6'2", 185, fits that kind of criteria. Julian Neal is listed at 6'2", 208 on the roster. Like, that's a big guy for a corner. And so I think that's something that, again, I think Perry, that's something that he likes going back to his time at Alabama. They always had guys like that. I think they feel like they have the right skill sets and the right bodies in that corner room. And now we'll just see with these transfers, there's a lot of guys kind of getting eased into the fold. We won't really know what they have in terms of the overall talent of the group. But I think that seems to be the idea they chase this offseason, is getting as many of those interchangeable, long, rangy guys that can play nickel, guys that can play corner. Someone like Julian Neal has the size to play safety. I think they really like that. And so now it's just a matter of finding the right spots for these guys, finding that initial two. But based on the tea leaves that I had, I feel like Julian Neal and Selman Bridges are going to end up being the two corners that wind up getting those two corner spots at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how it shakes out. Just watching some of the practice stuff, like the first couple of days, I was doing a thing where I was watching the DBs and I didn't have the roster right in front of me. And I was like, dude, who is number 2? Man, number 2 looks good. Man, that dude he's long. He looks athletic. He looks good. Who is that? It's got to be one of the newcomers. No, it's Selman Bridges the entire time. He's added a little bit of weight to that frame, which is good. Yeah, 6'2", 185. I know they were so excited about him when he came on. And then, the opportunities were a little bit fleeting throughout the course of last season. He's a true freshman, whatever. But it seems like they made a pretty concerted effort throughout the spring to have him as a guy where they're almost putting him in position to be like, okay, dude, this is your job to lose. You know what I mean? And they've been doing that since they got into fall camp. So that excites me because we knew that the potential was there with him as a prospect. And it sounds like they've seen enough to where they feel comfortable at least putting him in that position where the competition is to beat him. It almost feels like there. I love Julian Neal, man. He was the guy when they went out in the spring portal and picked him up. That was the one where I was really like, oh, wow, this isn't just a depth body. This is a guy who could actually come in here and help him a little bit. Then you heard Ben Souders doing a thing where he was talking about all of his lifts and how strong he is and how he's competing right away. And then the first day of practice, he gets an interception out there when media is watching. It's like, all right, this dude, his trajectory is going in the right direction. So I like it. When I look at the DB room, and you mentioned it right there, Andrew, they're big, man. It's just a big group. The corners too. I mean, you think about like a Kenai Walker coming over from Oklahoma, and he's a guy who's listed at 6'2", 204. They got all these guys who are 6'2" plus and 200 pounds plus. Seems like physically they should be able to hold up pretty well. I wonder where they're at in like the speed department when it comes to covering SEC receivers and everything. We'll see, but in terms of just like the eye test and looking at them, they look pretty good to me.
Yeah. And I think that, the passing defense is more than just cornerbacks. Like, I know that. But, last season, you had such a weird situation with the Jalen Braxton ordeal where, because was it the first game he got hurt against UAPB and then we never saw him again? Or was it the second game?
It might have been like the first series. It was the first game because we were wondering if he was going to play against Oklahoma State, and then he didn't, and then just never played again.
Yeah. So you had that situation go on. And then you had, of course, some guys that are changing in and out. And then at the end of the season, you got guys that transfer out, like Braxton was one of them. The Metcalf boys head over to Michigan, that they leave. You had some other departures. The no-fly zone finally actually didn't run out of eligibility. He could have come back another year, but he was just too good to stay here for another year. So you had him. And now it's like you got some guys back, but like Jaheim Singletary was the former 5-star player that people were thinking maybe he takes those strides, but it doesn't look like he's necessarily going to be the guy. Selman Bridges, if I'm not mistaken, he entered into the portal for about 5 seconds and then jumped back in and is a Razorback, which is fine. Hey, listen, as long as he's here, that's all that matters. But it's a fascinating thing because we talked about the offensive line where they've lost guys and then you added some pieces to replace them. Maybe they'll be better. But maybe I'm sipping the Kool-Aid. I honestly, truly think that this might be something where you lost a lot of your defensive backs, specifically your cornerbacks. And I actually think you're going to be better at it. Like, of course, staying healthy and everything, but it's some legitimacy there. And guys, I went through the numbers, which again, I know pass defense has more than just cornerbacks, but since we're talking about it, it's insane what the numbers are for Arkansas over the Sam Pittman tenure in the secondary and in pass defense. Get this. In 2020, Arkansas ranked 102nd in passing yards given up as a team. 102nd. That's horrible. In 2021, they were 41st. Pretty solid. Made a huge jump. 2022, dead last in the nation, 131st. Dead last in 2022. In 2023, they were 32nd. Guys, I actually don't remember that. I did not, I guess because the team was 4-8 and no one cared, but they were 32nd in pass defense and yardage per game. Last year, 111th. So it's basically been awful, solid, awful, solid, awful. So trends are saying that this season's going to be pretty solid, maybe make the big jumps. But it is one of those things to where, I looked up the 32nd ranking or the 41st ranking. I didn't think that those defensive secondaries were just awesome, but I did know that those other ones were awful. So it's like, it just is so much more apparent when it's a bad pass defense than when it's a good pass defense. And again, I know it's more than cornerbacks, but I truly think that there is going to be significant strides and improvement. You could even make the argument maybe the most improved unit on the team from last year to this year, because I do think they did a really good job of the guys that they've added, of getting some of these transfers. Of course, they got to stay healthy. They have a guy named Shakur Smalls. It's good enough for me. So I just think that, you're going to see some improvement. If it could be in the top 30s, that'd be awesome. You're going to face some pretty good pass offenses, but I like what they've done in the portal so far.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice, and I like what they've done in the portal too. They've got a lot of guys who have a lot of reps. There's a good amount of experience that they have in that room now, and I mean, if they could go from even being pitiful to average, that would be a pretty nice stride to make there. A lot of it, I saw Heartbroken Hog made the point too that a lot of it when it comes to your pass defense is predicated on your pass rush, and that's one thing about this that scares me, because that's something that I am very much not sold on is Arkansas's ability to get to the quarterback and put pressure on him consistently there. So any quarterback who's going to have time to just sit there and, pick his spots and take his shots, he's going to wind up having some success no matter how good your guys are in coverage. So that'll be one thing to watch there. But I do think that room in particular is improved. I feel good about that. The other thing about it, we're talking about the size that these guys have. What irritated me more about the secondary last year than giving up passing yards was the tackles that they didn't make. Arkansas had a lot of games where missed tackles were an issue. And I know, me and Andrew would always get on and do the report card or whatever. And we're looking at the PFF tackling grades, and all the bad ones came in the secondary, man. And that's not the back level of the defense is not where you want to be missing a bunch of tackles. So if they could improve from that standpoint as well, that would go a long way, because man, it was rough sledding for them sometimes back there.
Yeah, the missed tackles was always crazy. I think the Tennessee game, of course, the one game all year that Arkansas, I think they missed like 3 tackles the whole game. Like, it was like the best tackling game they had. Makes a huge difference. And if you have bad corners, you can kind of find a way to hide that. You can find ways to kind of, play different coverages that don't highlight it as much. But if you have those good corners, it really changes the way, because we talk about it's all connected. It's defensive line, linebackers. It's a 3-level thing. But if you have guys that can actually cover out on the outside, it really frees you up to take some risks in your front seven. And for a team that doesn't have a proven pass rush, I think, I'm going the opposite way, where obviously a good pass rush helps your pass defense. I think if you have guys that can cover out on the outside, it maybe gives you a situation where, hey, maybe we can send an extra guy. Maybe we can send that nickel on a blitz. Maybe we can bring those pressure with the linebackers, kind of frees you up. And so defense is, again, it's a full thing. And offensive coordinators look at a defense with 11 guys. They're looking for the one hole. That hole can be at end. That hole could be at corner. That hole could be at safety. If you have a hole, they're going to find it eventually, especially with these play callers in the SEC. But really, John, you touched on how year over year, it's like vastly different results. It's not like Arkansas is incapable of fielding a good secondary. We've seen them do it. But you think about what they did last year. You bring in a guy in Marquise Robinson, who is supposed to be a starter at corner for you, didn't really pan out the way that they wanted to. You bring in Nico Slaughter, who was supposed to play that nickel spot, didn't really pan out the way they wanted to. And that's not a knock on those guys, because, again, we've seen them bring in productive defensive backs before. And then you had a returner in Jalen Braxton, who's kind of in that. Now, Selman Bridges didn't play as much as Jalen Braxton played as a freshman, but he's now in that role of your returner who you're hoping can step up and be a legitimate starter there. And then you look at the safeties, they kind of had a little bit of a mix of returners and transfers there, and the transfers just didn't pan out. And when your transfers don't pan out, you have a bad group. It's not rocket science. That's pretty much how it works. And so conceptually, it's not like they did anything crazy different this offseason. It's just a matter of, can you get, if you have a hole and you put duct tape on it, is that duct tape going to hold? Last year, it didn't hold. This year, their duct tape looks like Julian Neal. We'll see if that holds. You've got a returner in Selman Bridges. We'll see if that holds. Kenai Walker, any of these guys, we'll see if they really made those moves. But last year, it was just kind of a combination of all of it. You know what I mean? If Marquise Robinson had been a huge hit, maybe it's a completely different room. If Nico Slaughter had been a hit, maybe it's a completely different room. And so we'll see if they can get those things to go their way this time. But it's not like a rocket science in terms of how could they be so bad last year and then pretty good this year. Well, you hit on some of these guys, these reinforcements that you brought in, it changes the whole thing. And so we'll just find out. Again, we're not really going to know until we know, but at least the vibe early on in the room, they seem to really like Julian Neal, and they like the progress of Summon Bridges, which isn't going to completely turn around this defense, but it's a really nice starting spot.
Well, I forgot. What was it? What was we going to miss? The Flappy Wings? Was that Marquise?
Yeah,
right?
that was the Flappy Bird, Marquise Robinson. What was his name?
Cuddy.
Cuddy, that's right.
Yeah. So I'm going to miss that. But Curtis, I'm glad you brought up also too about the pass rush, because that was kind of what I was going to get into when I went to the rankings and see that I did my rigorous research here. 2023. So there's only been, according to my knowledge, 3 years over the past 20 where Arkansas has ranked in the top 35 in the country in pass defense and yardage given up per game. I've already mentioned one of them in 2023. Who was a player on the defense that was not on the secondary that was a good pass rusher?
2023?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. 20. Let me start at the beginning. 2006. Let's start there. 2006. Who was a good pass rusher on that team?
Jamal Anderson.
Really good. And that was one of the years Arkansas was top 35 in pass defense. Another year, 2014. Who was on that team that was a pass rusher? Yeah, Trey Flowers, Darius Philon, Dietrich Wise, like all of them. That was another one. And in 2021, it was interesting because they didn't necessarily have a pass rusher. That was when they had 3 defensive linemen total, pretty much. But I think it also just went to show, not hating, but some of the teams they played didn't exactly have great pass offenses. I think that's helpful. But in 2023, that was kind of the exception, because in 2022, you had Drew Sanders, who was getting after the quarterback and everything, but they were still dead last. That shows you how bad that was. When they had like one of the best, I remember talking to people and going on radio shows that year. They're like, explain to me how a team that's leading the SEC in sacks is so bad in the pass defense. I'm like,
they had 8 sacks in the South Carolina game week 2. And it skewed everything for like a long time. And obviously they wound up breaking the school record or whatever. That team definitely had a great pass rush, but it was like a little bit deceiving. You know what I mean? Because I think Drew Sanders accounted for like 70% of the sacks or something like that.
So the point is, that's like the exception to the rule. But all the other years, they always had solid pass rushers. Of course, in 2023, Landon Jackson was the kind of the point I was getting to. Of even though that team wasn't very good, Landon Jackson still did a good job of getting to the quarterback. So, to saying all that, just to reiterate the point you made, Curtis, that if you have a great pass rush, it makes the difference. Even if you have a very average secondary, and when I say average, as far as average talent, it makes it all the difference in the world. And I don't know if Arkansas has that this year. Hoping they do. Hoping somebody steps up. But it is, without question to me, the position group on the team that has so many more factors to it than just, oh, is this unit good or not? Like the defensive line, the unit's good or not based on, okay, this stat. Same thing with the linebacker, same thing with wide receivers, whatever it is. But to me, the secondary might be the one that's like, it revolves so much around other factors than just simply, oh, are you good or not? It's about the offenses you face. It's about the pass rush that you have. And so that's why it's like kind of unfair to look at him and put him in a box. But at the same time, maybe explains why it's been so inconsistent for Arkansas over the past few years.
Yeah, no, for sure. Andrew, in the press conference, did we get the bit of, are we going to be able to play a lot more man coverage this year? Or is that usually safe for Sam Pittman?
I don't know. It is usually a defensive back thing. I don't know if he said that or not. We did get the bit of just like, hey, we got the depth. We're going to play 9 corners. Like, I mean, we can just rotate these guys in and out and keep them fresh and all that. And so that was kind of the thing.
Certain that that's the case.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, as part of your Alumni Hall question of the day, I know we'll get to your chats, but it was a simple thing because kind of bringing it up of last year and dealing with the stats, and we'll get into that. But want to remind everybody, Alumni Hall, the ultimate Razorback shopping experience. You can shop them online at insidearkansas.com/Alumni Hall. They have all the great Razorback apparel in. We're going to be there later this month, the Friday before the first game, Alabama A&M. I believe it's August 29th. We're going to be live from Alumni Hall in Fayetteville. So come by and see us. But if you use that promo code HOGS20, get 20% off your purchase. Just visit that website, insidearkansas.com/Alumni Hall, for all the great Razorback apparel. Simple thing. Arkansas gave up 246.8 yards passing per game last year. Will that number be higher or lower this season? The reason I ask is because I didn't give the ranking of where Arkansas was. I wanted to see if people think that that's a lot of yardage or not. But honestly, Arkansas fans came through because 65% of them say it will be lower, even though it was 111th, which is close to last. It's only 20 spots away from being last. from a year ago. Most Razorback fans think it will be improved, and which goes into my other point of when you're talking about a selective unit of all the team and all the roster and everything. I feel like, I could be wrong, but I feel like most people are on board with saying this may be the most confident people have that this unit's going to be improved from any other unit on the team, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be lower.
Okay.
I feel pretty good about it being lower. I certainly hope that it's lower. If it's not, could be a rough one for the Razorbacks. And you know, some of it's going to be dependent. It's interesting to me because it wound up being that high last. Like, who are the games where they really, really got torched? Because I think about like Marcel Reed, he was terrified to throw the football in that game against Arkansas. Auburn didn't even have a quarterback for an entire half that was out there in that game. Like, there was just, it seemed like a number of times that Louisiana Tech literally couldn't throw a pass beyond the line of scrimmage. Just some of those games throughout the course of the year, I'm like, they're not even a threat to throw the football. So how did this number wind up getting as high as it did? I know Jackson Dart's a big part of that, but I don't know if that's going to be the case this year, but I still think it's going to be lower than that.
It's going to be lower. And yeah, you're 100% right, Curtis. There was it was crazy because I think even UAPB like didn't, like they had like 50 yards passing or something crazy like that. But here's the weird thing that led to last year's number. Arkansas got blown out basically twice all year. Ole Miss, they get blown out. LSU, they get blown out. The LSU game didn't get out of hand until late. So Nussmeier had 3.5 quarters of throwing the ball. I don't know what he finished with passing, but it wasn't like a blowout where you're down by a ton and the quarterback is handing off the entire second half. So it's like 120 yards. So even in that blowout, you gave up some passing yards. And Ole Miss, they threw the ball for 4 quarters. And it was like 600 yards or whatever, which definitely skewed it a little bit. And so honestly, and there was another game, I think the Mississippi State game was a game that Arkansas was winning the entire time. And that quarterback wound up throwing for a ton of yards. The Oklahoma State game is another one where Arkansas was up the entire time. They end up losing. I think that dude might have had 500 yards or whatever. So it's like in a 12 season, all it takes is 2 weeks to really skew this thing. I think there's going to be some games this year where, not to be, too pessimistic, but like I think there's going to be some games this year where Arkansas loses by a comfortable margin and a team doesn't throw the ball that much. Like, I think that didn't really happen last year, which is kind of an anomaly. You know what I mean? That none of the games that you lost big had the teams like run the ball really. And I think they're going to face their fair share of teams like Alabama A&M. I'm sure they're not going to sling it all over the yard on them. And so I think it'll be lower just by default and kind of the way that it played out. But I also do actually believe the secondary will be improved, a decent amount. But my confidence is not even in the improvement of the secondary. It's more just circumstantial. I think they will lose more. Therefore, they will not be facing passing offenses as much.
Well, I just looked up the stats for last year's passing. Jeez, man, I knew the Ole Miss game was bad, but good golly. So there was 5 games Arkansas had given up more than their average, which was 246 yards roughly. There were 5 games where Arkansas gave up more than that average. The Texas Tech game was 280 yards passing they gave up. So they counted the bowl game in there. Auburn was 285 yards passing.
That's because Peyton Thorne had a pretty good second half. Yeah.
Arkansas was up that entire game too. Yeah. So it was like Auburn was constantly trying to throw their way back in.
Yeah, and Auburn scored only 14 points. That's rough in that one. Mississippi State had 309 yards passing in that game. Completed 71% of their passes and only had 25 points because, as we remember, they screwed up like 4 goal line stands, like when they're supposed to just punch it in, and they never did. So there was that. Oklahoma State, 326 yards given up through the air, only 1 touchdown. Oh, jeez, Ole Miss. 562 passing yards, 7 passing touchdowns on 82.5% completion percentage. That's stupid.
That's insane.
Disgusting. But you want to know where the skew comes from? I know it's like crazy. Like, well, if you take away this game, Arkansas's pass defense is pretty good. It's like, yeah, but you can't do that. But that was just a painful reminder of how bad that was. Holy crap.
You brought up that Auburn game, and I was thinking about all the turnovers. And you know what's crazy to me is we've talked so much about, the transfers Arkansas has brought in, and has it sufficiently replaced the guys that they lost? And then everybody always does the thing about like, oh yeah, but Braxton didn't play and Coot was hurt and Luke has always hurt. When is the last time any of us have mentioned TJ Metcalf?
Ever.
Like, I completely forgot that dude existed. And he had some monster games for Arkansas last year. And I haven't heard him brought up in these conversations for months.
Yep.
It just struck. I was thinking about that Auburn game. I was like, man, who was making all those plays? Oh yeah.
And Jaden Johnson, by the way, wasn't like a world beater or anything, but like that was a legitimate starter. Like you had a legitimate safety duo, but your corners and your nickel were really struggling. And so I think the idea that it's going to be just vastly improved, probably a little bit of a stretch, but I do buy the notion that they might have a higher hit rate on the transfers. You know, maybe you can be a little bit healthier and so all that. But I'm with you where it's like it's not a foolproof, like they are guaranteed going to be significantly better position by position in the secondary.
Guys, I just got to bring this up. I'm sorry. I know we're talking about last season, but this just hit me like a ton of bricks. The SEC games, forget non-conference, SEC games. They obviously Arkansas played 8 of them. The 4 games where the opposing team passed for the least amount of yards, the 4 games, Arkansas only won 1 of those.
Really?
And that was Tennessee. Tennessee was second to, they had 158 passing yards. That was the second least compared to UAPB on the year. But that was the only game. So Arkansas won that game, but lost to A&M, Missouri, and Texas. Those are the 3 teams that had the least amount of passing yards against them last year. But
because Missouri was in the snow or whatever.
Yeah.
It was in the snow, and whoever that quarterback was didn't have an arm.
Yeah.
He couldn't even throw the football. So
yeah. And then LSU, Auburn, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss. Those are the top 4. You won 2 of those. The LSU one, though, they only passed for 235 yards. Only, I say only, but compared to Ole Miss, though, what's crazy is that LSU was just able to take advantage and score points. Like that was a big part of it. I think wasn't there like a pick 6 or
there was a turnover? Or LSU, it was like 10-6 going into the fourth quarter or something like that. Then LSU scores a touchdown. Opening kickoff gets run out to like the 11, and then there was an immediate turnover. And so it was like
a 14 ball that Talon threw that got picked off by the whatever that dude's name was.
The D lineman.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a tough one.
Yeah.
That was when the game ended right there.
Yeah. Just a weird time. And for a fun little trivia question, guys, can you name the 4 games last season before we move on? 4 games last season where the opposing team did not throw a touchdown pass. There was 4 games. The opposing team did not throw a single one.
I think Marcel Reed did.
Yeah.
Did he not?
He did.
He did. Okay. Yeah. On that drive where they put the second string D line in, he finished it with a touchdown pass.
Did Nussmeier throw a touchdown?
He did not. LSU.
Okay.
Scored 35 points and didn't score a touchdown. Missouri.
Louisiana Tech.
Nope. Louisiana Tech threw 2.
Those are the only points they scored. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Who else didn't throw a
touchdown? That felt like the other one would be the easier one between the other 2 you got. So
Auburn?
No. Well, I mean, I just mentioned the team that was terrible in the passing game that Arkansas beat. Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, but either way, I just was kind of fascinated by the team. Like LSU that scored 34 and Missouri that scored 28. Neither of them scored a touchdown pass against you. So
more like Nico, I'm not throwing a touchdown.
Exactly.
And okay, so I'm sorry. One final one. Can you name the team that threw the second most touchdown passes behind Ole Miss last season against Arkansas in a game?
Oklahoma State, right?
Nope. They only threw 1 touchdown pass. I'll go ahead and tell you because it's funny. UAB, they threw 3. And
Cam Shanks caught one of them.
Crib.
Yeah. So, anyways, just again showing how bad
that UAB quarterback cooked Arkansas, bro. He cooked them. I remember people being like, "Dude, we should get this Zeno kid out of the portal."
Isn't he at A&M now? Is that where he wound up?
He definitely transferred somewhere like that.
Yeah, that sounds right. So yeah, just some fun little factoids there. But want to remind everybody that here on Inside Arkansas Live, we're brought to you by our friends over at Hickey and Hull Law, because we know that divorce and custody cases, they're important, folks, and they're way too important to try to face alone. Anybody that's ever tried to face them alone, it's a difficult process. It really ends up wearing on you because you still got to live your life. You don't want to deal with that. So have somebody who is an expert in the field like Hickey and Hull Law help you out with guiding you through this entire process, not leaving any stone unturned, giving you all the details of the case each and every day. You got to check it out because this is the foundation of a strong attorney-client relationship. It's all about honesty and trust. Hickey and Hull Law provides themselves with the building of relationships with their clients by providing honest, principled advice and representation. So give them a call today at 479-434-2414. That's 479-434-2414. They have offices in Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Little Rock, and Mena. You can also check out their website at hickeyandhull.com or scan that QR code right there. It's Hickey and Hull Law. Things are about to get better. So, all right, let's, I wanted to bring up a few things too, because I know we'll get into the chat of everything, but we were talking about last year and everything. I was maybe going to use this for my heavy hitter, but I got some other ones. I want to go and bring it up right now, though. I'm going to give a big dub to the Razorback Football social media account. They've been struggling, but I just wanted to do this for them because Auburn football put out a clip. You guys remember that hit that was on Andrew Armstrong in that Auburn game from last year? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they call him the pirate, the guy that hit him. It was nasty. And I remember Auburn fans got mad at me because I said that once that guy got hurt later, I was like, yeah, man, you shouldn't have hit him so hard. And they're like, oh, rooting for injuries? What a piece of trash you are. Whatever, shut up. Anyways, they put that clip out and everything. Well, Razorback Football Twitter, I'm going to give them some credit. They said 25 days until TG returns, and they put out this just picture of him when Jalen Green ended up kicking the guy in the head like the Karate Kid. So I tried to make it to where I could put I was trying to make it to where I could put the video of both up there, but it wouldn't work. So I was just like, well, I'll just explain it because his name's Champ Anthony. That's right, Champ Anthony. Call him the Pirate. So they put out that video, and they were like 25 days until the Pirate returns, and then Arkansas was like 25 days until TG10 returns. I'm like, thank you, good job. This is the stuff that you guys need to be doing and having fun with it. Forget if anybody says anything, because I'm sure some Razorback fans will be like, oh, I can't believe you're posting this when we suck. Nah, do this more. I appreciate and respect it. Thank you, Razorback Football social media team.
Man, that's fantastic. I saw both of those tweets, and I didn't connect the dots until you just did it for me. That's elite level stuff right there.
Yes.
Well done. Yeah, kudos. Credit where it's deserved. They earned it with that one. That's good.
Yeah.
You remember the last year they were making fun of Deion Sanders, and then they had the darts only tweet where it was like, everybody was like clipping together tweets where it was like of their quarterback throwing the ball, and then it'd be like just a rocket over the moon or whatever. Because I think it was Shedeur Sanders that Colorado tweet went viral. They had a good little tweet making fun of them too. Fall camp must just be the best time of year for Razorback Football Twitter.
I mean, it's hard to argue that, at least because I don't know how it works with their social media team. I know they have a team, but I don't know if it's like interns that just come and go. Is it the same group? Because, man, I felt like in 2021, especially maybe even 2020, but 2021, those guys were on fire. Like I remember, I think it was 2020 when Arkansas beat Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, and they had the Lane train as Thomas the Train crashing in, and then just
my favorite ones,
dude. Yeah, busted out, and you got Sam Pittman with his sunglasses and the cane and like the bass modulation. Like, please do things like that. Although I was a little pissed. I'm not saying that they stole my idea, but you guys remember my drunk highlights that I did of Auburn last year? The next time they won, they took the exact same concept and did it themselves. I'm like, come on.
That's one thing they consistently do. Shout out to Fuller. I love Fuller, but every time you say something funny in the press box, it gets tweeted out, and then they don't credit anybody. They love to do that. Just take what other people are saying that's funny and then just kind of make it their thing.
Well, I'll show them. I'm going to block the Razorback Football accounts. I'll teach them. Yeah, because then they won't be able to see all my tweets, even though they don't follow me or anything like that. So
they did have some good ones, man.
Oh yeah,
I don't think that like the Thug Life one with Sam was real good. The when they beat, I think it was 2020. Yeah, that would have been when they beat Tennessee, and then it was like the Rocky Top, and they do the broken record thing on the record. It was pretty good. Yeah, they had some bangers. Thomas the Train is the best one though.
And you know what's funny is I went to try to find it, Curtis, and I couldn't find it. I don't know if they deleted it or what. It's kind of hard to search on Twitter sometimes for videos, but I was going to try to find it because it was electric and incredible. But because wasn't it last year when they beat Tennessee, they did the Courage the Cowardly Dog one of him like running through the house, random like that. And I was like, man, this is a deep cut. I don't know many people that even know what Courage the Cowardly Dog is, but kudos to them for
that show used to horrify me as a child.
Yeah. Anything on Cartoon Network back in the day was a little much sometimes. It's like Ren and Stimpy on steroids. So, but either way, that was that. But speaking of that, it's a great segue. I meant to do this yesterday, but just got caught up. You guys saw the whole Tennessee quarterback situation thingy that happened yesterday, right? In the practice. For those you didn't know.
I could barely see it, John. But...
No, apparently a lot of people could barely see it. So I'm just going to play this video real quick and see if anything sticks out to all you people watching real quick. All All right. Well, other than owing a fortune to the swear jar, this is nothing too big of a deal. Hey, whatever. It's a nice interception. Great play. Except if you rewind it, what is this right there behind number 4? It looks like a blur, almost like it's a Girls Gone Wild promotion or something like that.
That's
just
crazy.
See a blurred line. What is this? Hold on a second. What? Oh, it's still somebody. Why is that a player that's blurred back there? Huh. Wonder why. What a crazy thing. That's the quarterback, folks, that threw an interception, and they did this to try to, I guess, protect him. But I don't know. That was pretty lame, and I couldn't help but laugh at it.
I'm not picking up good juju from Tennessee, man.
Oh,
I don't know about that situation over there. They got a lot of talent back, but trying to figure out the quarterback thing, doing weird stuff, more drama right before camp. I don't know.
Listen, I think if Talon threw an interception at practice, they would have no problem tweeting it out. Obviously, there'd be some people that would, whatever. But especially if you're going to celebrate the interception, because I think that Arkansas would feel okay just being like, hey, listen, we're, ones on ones, good on good. Defensive back made a great play, like whatever. The fact that you blurted out is almost like admitting that your quarterback sucks. Did y'all happen to see Marcel Reed? There was a video that's circulating of him today. There was this beat writer that was like, here's every deep ball that Marcel Reed threw today at practice. And it was like a 2 for 20 clip. Like he just was not dotting it up. I love this kind of stuff. I love overreacting to camp highlights. Hell, they posted a video of Omega Blake the other day. And I was sitting there looking, I'm like, who all's with the first team defense? I see Summon Bridges. I see Sorry. I was trying to read the tea leaves. You can't be blurring stuff out. You got to let us pick up on every Easter egg in these videos that we can.
Well, my thing is if they're doing it for protection, that's one thing. But if they're doing it to get interactions and impressions on social media, they're killing it, because maybe that's what you need to start doing, is just manipulating and lying in your thing. Because my whole thing is you could have just started the video right here, and not even had the quarterback. You could just edited it and be like, okay, we're starting this here. I think everybody would have understood what was going on, but either way.
Especially because it's such an underthrown ball. You know what I mean? It'd be one thing if this guy just took the ball out of the receiver's hands. It's like, this was a bad throw.
Yeah. Man. But yeah, the social media game for college football programs and everything is pretty fascinating. I like seeing it from Arkansas's perspective too, because you would get to see some highlights. They're not going to usually put out a lot of lowlights or anything, but the editing and the approach to it and all that's just, it's hysterical. It's truly hysterical.
So you got Tennessee that's scared to show their players throwing passes. You've got Texas A&M quarterbacks who can't throw passes. You've got Auburn quarterbacks who the head coach is telling the defensive coordinator to take it easy on them so they can build confidence in practice.
Arkansas is going 8-4, boys. Well, it sounds like.
I tell you, it really actually, and I'm not even joking, it might be a historically bad year for SEC quarterback play.
If Nussmeier is going to be the one that has to carry it, because I know everyone's sitting there Arch Manning, but dude, as we've talked about, Arch Manning, we have no idea. He could be good. He might be good. He potentially could be there, but you might think he's just going to walk in and just throw for 3,500 yards and 30 touchdowns. There's no guarantee of that. So you could be right.
Game managers and Ty Simpson and Gunnar Stockton that I wouldn't say they're going to, those are guys that I wouldn't be stunned if they struggled as well. Hell, even Lenore Sellers, who is, very good. He had an awesome year. It's I could see South Carolina being worse this year and him maybe taking a little bit of a step back. I think things kind of fell into place. It's normally there's at least one or two really insane prospects or guys that you just know are going to be really good. I don't think it's the worst year ever, but there's a lot of uncertainty at the quarterback position in the SEC if you just look across the league.
Also, too, did you guys see, this is not necessarily quarterback related, but you see LSU had to delete their social media tweet and video?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, because the very first frame of the video, they showed a scissor lift. Brian Kelly.
Did they really do that? They really, damn.
Yeah. It's it's not a funny story, but it's one of those things where it's really? LSU might be, I'm going to hate on LSU a little bit. LSU might be the dumbest, most doing dumb things when it comes to lack of self-awareness that of any major program I've ever seen. It's pretty incredible. But either way, they ended up taking it down at least because people were ripping them for it. But I was like, golly, it's always something, man. It's always something. The SEC, it just means more when it comes to even their social media accounts and everything coming with it too. All right, and I tell you what, I know we'll get into the chat. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and get into the chat now because we can bring this up here in just a bit. But I want to remind everybody that the vibe checking of the chat is presented by our friends over at Basis Health, where they're changing the way healthcare is delivered by providing mobile medical visits to the comfort of your very own home. A doctor will come to your home for urgent care, primary care, IV hydration, and so much more. It's Basis Health. They are here for you when and where you need them the most. You can learn more at basishealth.org today. Shout out to our guy, Dre, for being a partner here with Inside Arkansas with Basis Health. All right, so a few of your chats. Give a shout out to those band geeks for becoming a YouTube member. We appreciate it.
You already were.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe the credit card he had, ran out of, or what was those little like gift cards that you get for Christmas, like all debit cards, Arvest, $100. Maybe it ran out. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But this is a good reminder though that on Thursday night, we're going to be doing a members only stream once again. So going to have some fun with that. All three of us will be present this time. Sorry, everybody, that I'm going to be there. I know it was fun with Curtis and Andrew. So you guys are going to
Cooper.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. You guys are going to have to, now you guys are going to have to be nice to me because I'm sure you guys won't say anything mean to me in the chat at all. But it'll be fun though. We'll talk football. We'll talk about anything and everything you guys want to. And you got to be a member though. You have to be a member on our YouTube, and it's $4.99 a month. Just another way to help support us. We'll do some giveaways, have some shirts, have some apparel, have some cool stuff. So be sure to come a member, and that'll be happening Thursday night. So looking forward to that. Also, let's see. Okay, let's take that. But this comes from David. He says, you guys think the talent gap from position to position is far superior at, say, in Alabama or Georgia, or is it the talent gap in our second and third string versus theirs that's the issue?
Both to a degree. I do think the biggest difference is probably the depth of talent. But that's not as pronounced as it used to be, I don't think, with the transfer portal era and everything, because Alabama and Georgia is not able to keep all those 5-star second stringers around without playing them. And that's how you wind up with a Drew Sanders or, Brini or whoever else. Right. So, with Arkansas, I mean, they've got good players. There's no doubt about that. Comparatively speaking, though, I don't think the talent is on the same level. I don't know that I see a bunch of super like star power, I guess, with Arkansas. Seems like a lot of these teams at the top, like they've got their guys who are going to be the first round draft picks, and they're going to be the all SEC guys and the go-to type of talents. I mean, who is that for Arkansas? They don't have a whole lot of that at the very top. I think their baseline of guys is fine. I think it's good even. But it's almost like you need to supplement that with your heavy hitters, if you will. They kind of remind me of the St. Louis Cardinals a little bit. And I know I rag on the Cardinals a lot, but right now it seems like they've got a whole team full of pretty good players, but they have a low ceiling. And if they supplemented that with, go out into the trade market and get a couple stars, all stars to come in there and help you, then you're really on to something. Like if you supplement your talent with that, then you're good. I just don't know that I really see that with Arkansas right now. Maybe some guys emerge. I don't know.
I definitely think the star power, like there is I think that is a noticeable gap, and it changes year to year, because there are years where I feel like Arkansas has, like a Drew Sanders type of guy and a Rocket Sanders type of guy, where it's like, you're like, hey, our top guys aren't that different from the top guys, but just the depth. So there's been years, I think, in the past where the depth is the big difference. And to your point, like, that's maybe not as dramatic as it used to be, because nowadays, the talent is kind of spread out. But I think with this particular Arkansas team, there is a little bit of both here, where I definitely think the star power, like, I don't think Arkansas has guys that we know for sure are going to be all SEC contributors. Like, we have guys that are experienced and guys that you like, and guys like Cam Ball, who probably will be, and Carmona, who probably will be good players. But I don't think Arkansas has that star power at all. There's definitely a gap there. I also think these other teams just don't have holes, and I think that Arkansas has, like you said, a group of pretty good players, but like, there's a couple holes there. And then again, 1 injury away, 2 injuries away from having noticeable gaps. And I just don't think that, those top SEC teams really have that, where they're playing guys that they don't want to play. And I feel like pretty much every football season, Arkansas plays 2 or 3 guys consistent snaps that they do not want to play and they should not play, but they just kind of have to. And so I think that's the difference. And again, I think endurance is the big one where like, if you're playing a team that's an A- and you're a B-, you'll probably be competitive, but then throughout the game, you're going to get tired and you're going to drop, and they really aren't. And of course, they're going to drop a little bit. That's the thing last year that I felt like was the big difference is that depth. And I feel like Arkansas has improved their depth, but I still think that front line. So like this particular year, I think the gap is actually bigger between the top line talent as opposed to the depth. But most years it is the depth that kind of gets Arkansas in trouble.
Well, and also to that point, it's like I look back at, for just Arkansas's example, some of their best teams that they've had and the best seasons they've had. It's not that the overwhelmingly majority of the talent across the board was that much higher. It was usually you had one, maybe two next level, elite level players that complemented those other players that were pretty solid. Like thinking of like the Darren McFadden years. Yes, you had some really good players on there, but it was, can anybody really name many offensive linemen from that team? Or the wide receivers. I mean, were those guys elite level wide receivers? Not necessarily. Sometimes it's just about we're getting the right complement. And that's the thing about Arkansas this year is I think that they have talent, and I think it's pretty well spread across. But do they have the Traylon Burks or it didn't even have to be a Traylon Burks, but do they have a Landon Jackson? Do they have an Andrew Armstrong? Do they have that top tier SEC level guy or multiple guys? I just don't know and don't think so on paper right now.
What they need is this vision that everybody's putting in their head of Taylon Green to become a reality. That's what they need, because Taylon Green, he's got all the intangibles, right? Like he's athletic enough and he's enough of a home run threat and a potential playmaker to where if he sharpens up some of the other things, he could be the guy for you offensively. And that's why a lot of the conversations when the people are saying, well, if Taylon Green does this, then Arkansas can do this. That's exactly right, because he kind of really stands out as the guy who could be that difference maker. Now, I don't know, just like how many SEC teams do you look at that don't have like a bunch of NFL talent on their defensive line? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And Arkansas, they don't really have that right now. Doesn't mean guys can't become that. Like Cam Ball could have a really good, senior year here and wind up getting drafted. I could see that happening easily. Quincy Rhodes could have a breakout season. He looks the part and become a guy that gets into draft conversations. But right now, you just, on paper, it doesn't really look like you have that. And that's, it's part of the reason why Arkansas is projected at least where they are. Doesn't mean it has to end that way, but.
Yeah. Well, also, I don't know who highlighted, but speaking of Cam Ball, Hunter Ratio says Cam Ball looks like Drewski in a uniform. So
that's crazy.
All right. Well, I could see it a little bit. That's pretty good. Curdy Wilkes says, I think AJ Green will get much playing time. I enjoyed watching him in 2021.
I think I imagine he'll get some carries here and there, and he'll probably factor in some way on special teams and stuff. I would imagine he'll be out there. I don't think he's ever going to get back to, not that he was ever in a featured role in Arkansas's backfield or anything, but I don't think he'll ever get back to where he was before he left Arkansas. But I think he'll get on the field.
He'll definitely play. I feel like if I had to guess, he will be RB3, which, may not sound exhilarating, but yeah, that's a guy that gets carries. But it is funny. And I know I make fun of the chat a lot, but it is funny how many times I've seen why aren't y'all talking about AJ Green? What's going on? What's the update with AJ Green? And it's like, how much can we really say about the preferred walk-on who's coming off an ACL tear that, was a former 4-star recruit, but I feel like when you're a redshirt junior, it's really tough to do the former 4-star thing. Like Jaheim Singletary, do we talk about him as a former 5-star guy? We always say first round picks. If you're if you're 6th year in the league and they say former 1st round pick, that guy sucks. And so I think what sucks about AJ Green is we've always had this idea of the best version of him, and we've seen flashes like the Liberty Bowl in 2022. He looked awesome. I think the best you can hope for at this point is you get some of those flashes out of your RB3, but I definitely don't foresee a world in which he's going to be taking over top carries from Mike Washington or anything. But hey, maybe with him and Braylon Russell, there's a legit competition there for RB2. It's crazy that I think Braylon Russell at this point is closer to the AJ Green stage than he is to the Mike Washington stage, at least between reading the tea leaves there.
Also, Awesome from Work says, give me y'all's dream hog pass rush/ secondary combo from teams past. Austin, are you saying that we're on the same team or just picking and choosing?
We got to combine players. We could put Chris Houston at corner, I guess him and Jamal Anderson were on the same team, but like Trey Flowers on the end, Dietrich Wise, and then having some corners, like who else? Who outside of Houston, Ken Hamlin at safety? Can we get him there?
Yeah.
Atwater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, how far back are we going here?
Yeah, I mean, you could put in like a Cam Curl, who I think has been really good in the secondary. And in the NFL, he's been a great player. Between him and who was the other player around then that I felt like played in the NFL for a little bit?
Kenoy Kennedy to play the hog position.
Yeah, just get Kenoy Kennedy in there. So Jalen Catalon for one season, just that 1 year in 2020.
Darius Philon, low-key might have to be the tackle. There haven't been a crazy amount of defensive tackles at Arkansas that have been like really good.
Yeah, Darius
Most
Philon,
of their best defensive linemen are ends, I feel like.
Yeah, it's like him or maybe oh crap, I just lost his name. The kid from 2021 that was the big dude. John Ridgeway. Yeah, we have to just throw him in there.
Just completely overlooking my man Jonathan Marshall.
I was this close to saying Jonathan Marshall. Hey, weight room demon Jonathan Marshall.
Yeah, him and what was it? What do you guys consider Sosa Agim? I feel like he played about all positions on the D line.
He was that classic, and they never found a real, because they had different coaches and stuff. Was he an end? Was he a undersized tackle that could rush the passer? He was in a weight where he was like 275, and it's like, I don't know what to do with that. It's like, I don't know which one he is. And I think that's probably why his career never really panned out, is because he never had that identity of like, I'm just going to be, a 3 technique and commit to that.
Also, a Hunter Ratio just said, I was burned out on Hog Sports for a bit, but I'm back. Honestly, missed you guys. Yeah, it's good to have you back, Hunter Ratio.
Well, Andrew can attest to this, going back to the Hog Sports days. If Hunter Ratio is getting burned out on sports,
that's notable.
That's very notable. We're glad you're back. I never in a million years would have expected that. And then I saw a little bit later in the chat, he was like, I've been watching Dexter. You guys need to be watching Dexter, which, hey, great. I actually really enjoyed Dexter, but are you okay? Like, I'm worried about you because there's no such thing as Hunter Ratio getting burned out on sports. So it took me back a little bit. It threw me off at the start of the show, if I'm being honest.
Well, I was honestly, shows you where my mind was at. I thought he was talking about the platform of Hog Sports. And I'm like, well, that's not how you spell it, buddy.
Getting burned out on their website.
Yeah, come on, you should stay with us. But I get that makes sense now. That makes a lot more sense now. Okay, I know we'll have our heavy hitters here in just a little bit, but a few more chats. Mike and him, I like this. He's just 3 question marks. Wants to make sure that we see it. Is there any way that a freshman wide receiver gets play time in a Petrino offense? I'm hearing buzz for AJ Jordan out of Warren. Yeah, we talked about this pretty heavily yesterday. And I think that there's a great way that he could be on the field. I just think that people need to maybe temper the expectations a little bit. But I think if there is going to be a freshman wide receiver that you could choose on this roster that is going to be a part of the passing game and be effective, I feel like he's probably the favorite, the BetSaracen favorite at this point in time.
Well, given the tenor of the fan base and the situation with the football program and everything, they almost have to play him.
Yeah.
They almost have to, whether he's ready or not. I'm not saying they have to start him and, make him the number 1 guy on the outside or whatever, but he almost has to be in that 2 deep, and he's got to be getting snaps early in the season, because people, when you get a home state guy like this who gets all the buzz in camp, especially with the Warren pedigree and everything, if they don't put that dude on the field and they have any struggles at all with the receivers, like if there are 2 drops in a game or they lose a game early or whatever, and the passing attack struggles, people are going to be freaking out about it. I'm not saying you have to coach your football team based on how the fan base feels about things when they're not at practice and everything like that. They almost have to play him, man. I'm just saying.
I think you're right, and I think he's going to get his opportunities. I mean, obviously against Alabama A&M or whatever, I'd be stunned if, honestly, a few of those guys didn't get a chance to play. I think it's going to be a fascinating thing to see if any of those guys don't redshirt. And obviously, I know red shirts are a big deal. You like to preserve it if you can, but I think that's a realistic goal for us to achieve with Antonio Jordan is do not if he doesn't redshirt, that means he contributed enough to where it's, serviceable there. Did CJ Brown redshirt last year? I don't think he did, because I think he played in 5 or 6 games.
Well, he played on a lot of. No, he's listed as sophomore. He was
Yeah.
he very infamously played on special teams.
I think Antonio Jordan should get the CJ Brown treatment from last year. Now, hopefully it goes better for him than CJ Brown. And I know I reference CJ Brown struggles a lot. I really don't mean to be hard on the kid, but it's just like a thing I think about a lot. I think Antonio Jordan should get those kind of opportunities where you'll play against UAB, you'll play against Alabama A&M. Hell, someone goes down against Texas, we'll throw you in there. Not like every week consistent targets, but I think he should get some of those opportunities, and then it's up to him to see what he does with them. But I think that's a realistic goal of let's just if he's good enough to not redshirt, we'll call that a win.
Yeah, and Mike. I wouldn't completely rule out Ja'Caden Ferguson either.
100%.
They really seem to like him a lot. He's come on strong over the course of the summer and early in fall camp, and he's been a name that I've heard out of that receiver room several times here in the past week, more so than Courtney Crutchfield or some of these other dudes out there. So he's at least making an impression. Maybe a steeper hill to climb for him than Jordan, but I would not be surprised at all if he gets a little bit of run in some capacity himself.
Well, I know we'll have our heavy hitters in a bit, and we'll get to more of your chats. But I want to remind everybody that here on Inside Arkansas, we're brought to you by our friends at BetSaracen. It's the number one sports betting app in the state of Arkansas. It's not even close. In fact, with the season being just around the corner, 25 days, Felix Jones days away from the season, you're already getting all the specials. You're getting a chance to be able to bet on all the future bets for college football, but you still have NFL preseason. You still have Major League Baseball. Still got all the things, anything and everything you can put money on. You're going to find it with BetSaracen. If you can't, then it doesn't exist. So check them out today. You can download the app on your iPhone or on your Android. And you can also check them out online at BetSaracen.com. We don't have to spend too much time on this, guys, but I did want to bring this up because this was something that we were discussing because I know we'll get to our heavy hitters. But this was, this thing from Bruce Feldman, which I thought was pretty fascinating. Bruce Feldman is a national college football writer and has been in the business for a long time and does a really good job. I know he's been at a bunch of different other platforms, but he had tweeted out that he said, even though I've been reporting on the Freaks List, which is Freaks List is just talking about freak athletes in college football. He's been doing it since 2005. He says, I still get blown away while working on this project with what I hear about some of the amazing things college football players have done or can do. Somebody tweeted at him and said, Taylon Green should have been on this list for the Freaks List. And Bruce Feldman responded, terrific athlete, had him on there 2 years ago, reached out to the Arkansas folks a few times this summer, but never heard back. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go crazy and just get pissed off about stuff that doesn't really matter in the big thing. But I don't know. I always feel like if it's a national platform you can get your players on, that's something you find a way to do and find a way to make happen, especially for someone like Bruce Feldman. So, again, I don't really know if there may have been a reason for it, may have been a good reason for it. But I was just kind of a little shocked that they didn't have something that could have just promote Taylon Green, promote Arkansas, promote them by putting them on the Freaks List if that was the case.
Yeah, I would love to say maybe he just had the wrong phone numbers or emails or whatever, but they've had Razorbacks on there in the past. Yeah. So yeah, that seems kind of weird to me. I'm not crazy about that. I'm with you, John. I'm not going to throw a big fit over it or anything like that, but it does kind of go back to, and they're doing better about it now, obviously, that camp has started, but the messaging, to get people fired up, get people excited about the program and kind of flip the narrative a little bit and get people believing. One way to do that is to get your guys, like you said, on lists like this. When you have a freak like that, people get pumped up about it. They get excited. You can put a social media post out there for it. And it's just good publicity for the program. There's no downside to that. And it doesn't seem like it would have taken more than like a 2-minute conversation to get a guy like Taylon on there, especially when he's already been on there in the past. So was surprised and a little bit disappointed to see that response there from Bruce, and feels like an opportunity missed. That's all.
Yeah, I think we all agree that it's not like the Freaks List is going to make or break your program. It's not going to change anything big picture. But again, it's just like a little thing that it's like would be cool, and we just don't get to experience at Arkansas anymore. And like you said, it's weird because there's been several Razorbacks on this list in past years. I mean, Landon Jackson, I feel like, was on it not too long ago. Yeah, Froholt was on it that one year. Who they've had, was it Jonathan Marshall maybe was on that list? Like they've had several guys that have been on this list. So we know it's something they like to do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it seems like the U of A is like they've gotten to a point where it's like they think less is more in terms of the media access and the media attention. It's like they're very selective with what they do and don't do, which, obviously I'm sure there's a method to the madness. I've been trying to figure out when this all started, and I think you guys will maybe agree. When KJ got that concussion in 2022 And we showed up at practice that next day, and they were like, hey, no cameras, no nothing, like, don't report on anything. That's when the really like hammering down on practice reporting started. And I feel like media relations has been very different since that 2022 season, where they've been kind of trying to keep it at a minimum. I wonder if there's something like that. It's just a change in philosophy they've had as a media staff, where they're like, hey, we want to keep it very minimum in terms of the amount of people that are talking about our program. And I'm sure there's a reason for it, but I firmly disagree with that sentiment. We always say any pub is good pub. Like, I think you should have you should be doing as much of this crap to distract from everything else, honestly.
Well, I also look at it too, where, maybe Sam Pittman tried to get Bruce Feldman fired, and there's just some problems there. And, Feldman is doing it that way. I'm kidding. Obviously, I don't think that happened, but that's, one of the things where, I hear sometimes with national media, I think it was with Calipari and some national media people, he's like, I don't mess with them. And then these national media people, I think everybody can kind of know who is being referred to. They're just like, oh, I'm going to use this as my vendetta against this person because of that. It was like, no, because you're a prick. And that's why. Like, it's just because of that. So I'm not saying that that's what happened with Bruce Feldman, because from all I know, it's not that case. But I think sometimes people can just jump to that conclusion where it's like, oh, this national guy's like, I didn't get this. Or if I say something bad about him, he's like, oh, he must have pissed off this coach or pissed off this player, and that's why they're not letting him have it. It's not always the case that way. So also,
Ramil, I just wanted to clarify that that's just kind of a bit I do where I butter him up before I say mean things. And I'm, when I say something bad about a player, I'm like, oh, he's a great man of faith, man of character and all that. That's when I'm being mean. You just have to slide that in there. There was a bit that David had not too long ago where it was like, I can't remember what it is you have to say where you're like, you can clarify like whatever. If you say a little sentence, everything you say after it's like perfectly fine. Where it's like, I'm not trying to be mean, but, and then you can just say the meanest thing possible. And it's, it's kind of the way to brace the fall.
Yeah.
It's was it with all due respect? It's like, no. I said with all due respect. It's fine. Anything I can say afterwards.
That's what Mark Jackson said when he was saying he would sleep with LeBron's wife. Y'all remember that? With all due respect, I'd hit her out the park. Like, whoa.
Golly. You're gonna say something, Curtis?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, on that note, let's go ahead and get into our heavy hitters presented by our friends over at HD Roofing and Construction, because we know that storms can hit anytime unexpectedly here in Arkansas. And we know that it's been summertime and the weather's been warm, but there's been times when the rains come in, the storms have come in. We know that with the snow and the ice that are going to hit, we know in the springtime, there's going to be chances of torrential storms and really difficult times. But the thing is that you have to make sure that your home is ready for it. Most importantly, your roof, because there's nothing worse than having to deal with a roof that's got a leak, that's got damage, because it impacts your entire life and impacts all of your possessions and impacts everything. So make sure that your roof is good to go by having HD Roofing check it out and give a free inspection to give you that peace of mind. Because when you choose them, you choose that professionalism, the top quality materials, and expert installation for all of your roofing needs. You can call them today at 501-428-0429. That's 501-428-0429. You can also check out their website at hdarkansas.com. Scan that QR code right there. It's our heavy hitters presented by HD Roofing and Construction. Okay, so I'll go ahead and start, guys, with my heavy hitter. Did you guys see this Pickle League thing? You know what the Pickle League is, by chance?
The Pickle League?
The Pickle League. I just learned about this recently.
Pickle ball?
No, see, that's what I thought at first, but it's called the Pickle League, and it's a summer league team. Sorry, the Portland Pickles Summer League team. My bad. But they took a random fan out of the crowd. Like some of the.
I did see this.
And I'm just going to play this clip from it. This kid comes out of the crowd and just cranks an unreal 2-run home run. Just watch the video itself. It's awesome.
Payoff pitch, high fly ball, left center field. Are you kidding me? 4 letters, 1 word, gone!
Yeah, pretty cool little moment there. My thing is, am I bad for being suspect about this if this is real? Like,
the chat seems to think it's a fake thing.
Okay, because I was a little bit suspect too. I was like, dude, maybe I'm wrong, but if that was me, which I know, first off, I could not hit a home run, guaranteed. But second off, if I did, I wouldn't be so cool, calm, and collected, rounding the bases and like putting up the two fingers out. No, I would be losing my mind. I'd be looking at the crowd. I'd be beating my chest. I'd be going nuts. I don't know. I just thought it was a little too suspect for me. But even if it's not, even if it is fake, you can't fake hitting a home run. You know, it's not like you could just get up there and fake that. So
yeah, I think he was like a JUCO player or something. Okay. I don't know if he was still randomly picked or if they like selected him on purpose or what went down there. But I think that's what I saw, is that he was a college baseball player, but still, you know, you just walk out of the stands and hit a dinger. I mean,
this is like when Bob Barker says, "Come on down at the Price is Right." It's like these, you know, like they were there before. But no, I'm with you guys. Like I still think it's cool. And I mean, obviously, listen, I'm a fan of professional wrestling, so I'm definitely not going to be one to knock something for being scripted, but still cool. I think it's fine. Did y'all see those videos a couple years ago when Marty Mush from Barstool was like hitting against big leaguers and like making contact? Like he like hit a base hit up the middle against Trevor Bauer. Marty Mush apparently played college baseball. He like actually took live ABs against some big leaguers and was like, you know, I wouldn't say like hitting well, but like competitive against them. I'm like, man, that's anybody that can hit a baseball at any level. It's impressive. I don't care where you're at.
Dude, I got humbled once. This was a few years ago. I went to the pitching machines going up against 70-mile-an-hour fastballs, and I wasn't even close. Like I was putting a spin cycle. So yeah, I can't.
Hilarious that normal people think they could hit 80.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that like maybe 3 people in the chat today could make contact against 80 miles an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can even take it a step further. I don't think there's many people that, say for Taylor Green, that could catch a pass thrown from Taylor Green, like on a route, like a true legitimate, like threading the needle thing. You're like, oh, I could catch it. But it's like, dude, you don't understand how fast that's moving and where it's being placed, all those things. So, but either way, it was a cool moment. That was my heavy hitter, is a guy that actually had a heavy hit and knocked it out of the park for a home run.
It was cool. It's one of my dreams, you know, is to have an opportunity like that. Or I know they used to, where the heck did I see this? I thought it was somewhere in the SEC, but it was like a fall ball deal, and they let some of the media members come out there and take BP.
That'd be so fun.
Team. I didn't see anybody hit any dingers out there, but that would have been awesome. I would love to get back into a beer league softball thing and just hit a home run. There's something about it, man. The jog around the bases or whatever. But no, that was cool. That was a good one. My heavy hitter, I would like to congratulate JJ Andrews on becoming a consensus 5-star prospect, according to Inside Arkansas and the Pod of the Palace. Because if On3 and Rivals aren't going to give this man any respect for what he's done, we're going to do it right here. I want to stump on this for just a second because I'm getting sick of it, man. They put out their rankings update. We knew that they weren't going to give JJ his 5th star. We knew they weren't going to give him a super bump or whatever. He got a little bit of a bump. He's 24th in the 2026 class, which is like a dozen spots lower than he is anywhere else. I just think that there needs to be a little bit more nuance when we're doing these rankings, because what I see right now is anybody who's like skinny, if you're tall and rangy and skinny, then you get the benefit of the doubt. It's like, oh, you haven't put it together yet, but if this guy fills out, boy, he's got the intangibles. If he develops some skill as a basketball player, he's got the intangibles. They're so worried about how things project. And I just feel like there has to be a better balance between projection and production, because right now it's almost like JJ Andrews is getting penalized for having a college-ready body. Like, he's not allergic to the weight room. And so he's got the muscle mass and he's strong enough. And he goes out there and busts everybody's ass, all these guys, but he's ranked lower than them because, like, well, yeah, but these guys are skinny right now. They haven't put it all together. But JJ has, and he's just dominating guys. I just think that's a little bit crazy. And there's got to be better balance there. I think they need more voices in that room. I'm not going to sit here and say that JJ Andrews has to be a top 5 player in the country or anything like that. I'm not unreasonable, but to consistently have him lower than everybody else, and then some of the reasoning behind it comes across as crazy to me. There are guys, one that in particular that Arkansas is recruiting, Mika Murinen, who is still a top 15 prospect, and he hasn't touched a basketball in a competitive setting since March. And then he's coming off of a junior season in high school where he averaged 7 points and 4 rebounds per game. So why the hell is he ranked ahead of JJ Andrews? It's because he's 6'10", and he showed in a game once that he can dribble and hit a three. And at some point, when you're the Peach Jam MVP and you've been playing against Tyron Stokes and Jason Crow and Jordan Smith Jr. and all of your peers, and you've been dominant, I get it. If you're not sold on him as an NBA prospect, that's fine, but he's got to get a little bit of credit for just absolutely torching everybody that he faces. I think it's crazy. He's a 5-star in my book.
Love that. And listen, I think it's crazy because I understand the premise of like, oh, this guy might be more projectable, where this guy might be closer to be. How much of a finished product can a 17-year-old guy be?
Honestly,
like, even if his body is great, it's like you just think he's going to stop getting better. I've got 2 suggestions for how JJ Andrews can flip the PR around. Mm-hmm. One, he could get a little sick and look a little frail at his next outing. Seriously. Then maybe you'd say, hey, there's something there. Or he could move to Serbia, start going by JJ Androvic, and all of a sudden people will be like, whoa, this guy, versatile. Oh, good passer. Wow, this guy. Curtis, I love sending those memes of like NBA players that people hate, like Bam Adebayo, and they're like, if you just change his name to Adebayovic, all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's this offensive-minded center. I love him. I'm with you 100%, and credit to JJ, man. Now it's not gonna. He's probably the type of guy that doesn't care about this, but like
he doesn't.
He needs to get some recognition because I don't know if there's anybody that's raised their stock more in that class in the last like 3 months than him. My heavy hitter is an interesting one because I'm a Texans fan, and in the AFC South, pretty much our top rival is the Tennessee Titans, who stole our cool mascot. Have they get to keep the Oilers stuff. We don't get any of it. Whatever. So I'm not supposed to like the Tennessee Titans, and I will never. But I gotta say, I am all in on Cam Ward, and I've loved Cam Ward since he was at Washington State. I used to bet on them a lot. Loved watching him there. Liked him at Miami last year. #1 overall pick. And I think some people may think, okay, is he really #1 overall pick? Good type of thing. And what I like about him is he's got a lot of talent, but like, he's not this just projectable project guy. I mean, this is a 5-year college player who just got better and better and better. He has won me over this offseason. Every clip I see of him, I'm into, like whether it's training camp. My favorite was when him and Shedeur Sanders were doing something where they were at the same field together, and he's just chirping Shedeur Sanders the whole time. He's like, bro, they gave you a completion percentage record off of nothing but bubble screens, man. That's crazy. He's like, if I was throwing the same passes you threw, I'd have a 90% completion percentage. And Shedeur Sanders was like, hey man, we should do a song together. And he's like, nah, man, I play football. I'm a football player. When they Google my name, it says American football. But here's a video of Cam Ward talking about his routine and sort of his motivation and sort of why he is wired the way he is. And it's easy to see kind of why he is the overachiever that he's become.
I was the big person on work. Like I said yesterday, I've grown up, watched my dad wake up at 4:30 doing a job he didn't like. So, if I can't wake up early and do what I need to do for a job I do like, I shouldn't be playing football. And that goes for everybody in the locker room. If you can't have the expectation for yourself that you want to be whether a good or a great player and want to put the work in, I just think that's how it should go. I just think good things only come to those who work.
And again, I mentioned Shedeur Sanders, and I'm not an anti-Shedeur Sanders guy. Like, I'm sure he's going to be fine. I'm sure he's not a bad person by any means or whatever. But I just think those are two guys that are just wired completely differently. Where you have one kid that's been told his whole life how awesome he is, and he's kind of had the best possible circumstances, and everything he does gets all his attention. And you have a guy in Cam Ward who just comes from a blue collar, hardworking family, and he's like, listen, dude, I love football. I want to make this my dream. I'm just going to go after it. And you can kind of see the difference in those two guys. I mean, listen, this time last year, Shedeur Sanders was being projected as the #1 overall pick. Cam Ward was not on that radar at all, but Cam Ward is steadily going up this way. And Shedeur is just kind of, Shedeur Sanders. And I also think he's more talented than Shedeur Sanders also, but I'm a huge fan of the way that Cam Ward goes about his business. And I'm excited to see what he looks like as a rookie. I think quarterbacks in the NFL have become more and more competent as they're coming into the league. I don't think the Titans are going to take the world by storm or anything like that, but I'm excited. I'm tentatively a very pro Cam Ward guy, even though I'm going to have to root against him twice a year.
No, I mean, listen, I think people like relatability and everything. And I think that's just, I think that's something like that people just like to hear. And comparatively speaking, it's not just like, oh, one person's better than the other. It's just some people enjoy one side and some people enjoy the other side. So Yeah, I do like Cam Ward, though. I am rooting for him, and I don't even care about the Tennessee Titans. But I will say, did you guys see this, fall camp, or I guess it's training camp for the NFL? Did you guys see this Chiefs player and his ability to rap to Monster? Is it Monster by Eminem? Or I forgot which song it is. But did you guys see this in front of the whole team? So I'm going to play these clips.
I love these hazing videos.
Yeah, well, it's this. There's two of the video. There's the video where you can't really hear them because the team reacts. And then they re-recorded it where you can't hear the team and they had to be silent during the whole time. So I'm going to play the reaction first. This is just crazy. And I think I got the song wrong, but either way.
That's low. That's low. Okay.
Trigger happy, packy with a black ink and laugh at that. Film the name.
So it kind of gives you the point of it. But that was the team reaction. He had them re-record it when he was silent. Just so people know what he's saying.
Trigger happy, packy with his black ink. People laugh at the bad meat. See what that means. Take a back seat. Take it back to fat piece with the back seat. Single look at my rap sheet with a track sheet. People, this my gangster. Like Apache with the catchy. Jiggle my step chip shoot. Barely got a half-eat Cheeto. Fill him with the venom and eliminate him. Other words, a minute, I don't want to hurt him, but I did him in a fit of I'm already getting him, but it will have been a kill him in a motherfucker.
Did they make him re-record this?
Yep. Just because
they're like, we were too loud last time. Do it and we'll be quiet.
Yes.
That's funny.
That's
So,
good.
anyways, I just thought that was really cool. And, sometimes any guy you can impersonate an artist, it's always pretty impressive. But if you can do like a really fast rap, that's another level because it's just not something that everybody can do. So,
Did you guys ever get good at Twista?
no,
Able to match the?
no. The only closest thing I ever got that was somewhat cool for maybe 2 seconds was I did win a beatboxing competition when I was in junior high. That's it. That's all I got.
You told
John,
us about your beatboxing before.
I beatboxed Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. And I think just because the olds knew that song, they're like, winner. And that was it.
It's a good little beatboxing track. John, I think you missed your calling being like a random undrafted free agent for an NFL franchise and then getting called up to do something like this. I think you would really crush in that exact context. Obviously, you've done some karaoke, but it's like, I think you would be so funny. Like you're like the seventh linebacker at camp that like is probably going to get cut in a week. And they're like, oh, let's get this guy up here and haze him. And then you just tear the house down. I think you could do that. That's always one of the funniest parts of Hard Knocks. Like the preseason Hard Knocks is when you have these guys. And I actually saw a video recently of George Kittle, the tight end for the 49ers. And he was saying that they used to go up and they would make you say your signing bonus. Oh, I'm so-and-so. I'm from West Virginia. My signing bonus was whatever. Now they make them say their NIL. And he was saying that the 49ers got somebody up there and he was like, NIL 1.2 million. They're like, whoa. They're like, dude, why did you even go to the draft? Like, just stay a year.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Well, I just like this from Finch because he said we're going to absolutely have to hear John beatboxing in the members only stream. Well, tell you what, on Thursday night, if you're a member on our members only stream, sauces are saying that could happen. So you're just going to have to join. We're going to have to get 100 members. We're almost to 100. So 100 members, I'll beatbox for everybody to watch and be like, oh, that wasn't worth it at all. But it'll at least be happening for you.
We could just skip the intro and you could beatbox us in.
That would be, I don't know if I'm going down that road just yet. Again, we got a slow play, a little slow burn to it.
We got to have 100% attendance on Thursday night. 100%. Because the three of us will all three be there. We've moved mountains to make sure that we will all three be there, and y'all got to be there.
Yep, absolutely right. So let's get to our summer topics as well as some of our chats here on the show. And want to remind everybody that we're brought to you by Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas. Next Wednesday, August 13th, next Wednesday, we will be live with Inside Arkansas Live down there at their location in Hot Springs, at the Hot Springs Marina. They're from 12 to 2. So really looking forward to hanging out with the Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas, telling you about all the great things that they have going on, because they have 3 locations in Arkansas where if you want to get out on the lake, and especially with time running out here in the warm weather, well, do it where you don't have to worry about buying a boat or having to deal with a boat, having to travel with the boat, put it in the lake, any of that stuff. Let all the maintenance and all the nonsense of boat ownership, let Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas help you out with that, where you just enjoy the fun parts of having a boat. They got a location in Greers Ferry Lake, also in the river there at Little Rock, if you want to go on the Arkansas River. And don't forget Lake Hamilton, which is, again, where we're going to be at the Hot Springs Marina next Wednesday from 12 to 2. And a new location's coming soon. We'll keep you updated on that. But they're going to make sure that your summer in the natural state is the best one yet. So check out their website today to learn more about joining the club at freedomboatclubar.com. That's freedomboatclubar.com to learn more about the benefits of joining the club with Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas. Okay, so a few of your chats, and we'll have our summer topics of conversation. Some of these we'll get to. I promise, folks. I promise we'll get to it. But sports question, since we're talking about secondary and everything, what's the greatest interception ever made in Razorback football history? As in, what's your favorite one or the one that you think of? Pretty much this.
Y'all better not steal mine. I'm just telling you right now. You better not.
I was about to say, John, you should just go first, man.
Okay. Well,
you always defer, you know?
Well, yeah, that's right. Well, for me, my favorite interception, and this is, people are going to be mad at me because it's probably not going to have as much consequence, but Rohan Gaines' 100-yard pick six.
Bro.
Maybe still Andrews, I'm sorry.
Asshole.
That was mine too. I mean, I've got another one, but
now you know why I defer.
I've got others too. But dude, I was prepared to do the Rohan Gaines bit.
Yeah. I mean, it's just because, and here's the deal, is like, it's a great play. Obviously, it's insane that he had so many blockers, but no one blocked for him at the end because somehow a guy got him. Luckily, he scored. But it's one of those deals, too. I remember how elite it was. You did it for that guy that I did not like, that Ole Miss quarterback, Bo Nix. No, not Bo Nix. What was his name? Bo Wallace. Did not like Bo Wallace. That guy was a chotch. And so it was great that you got to shut him out, that they got the pick six. And anytime Uncle Vern's on the call, it's always just meaning a little bit more. And I don't care what anybody says. There's some great names, which we'll have a summer topic tomorrow, will be the best nicknames in Razorback sports history. But just the name Rohan is one of my favorite names. And Uncle Vern just, Rohan Gaines. It was just great. So anyways, it's a memorable one. I remember it was kind of like the final nail in the coffin of beating the crap out of the number 8 team in Ole Miss and Hugh Freeze in the rain. It felt like you were kind of all the way back. Just a really cool moment. Pick sixes are great, but to go house call 100 yards, that's a whole nother element. So,
dang, I can't believe that. I thought that both of you guys were going to take the Richardson pick to seal the game against LSU that year with the 50-48 game. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to go with that one. So it's got to be the 100-yard pick six. Wasn't there another? Didn't Arkansas have another 100-yard pick six a few years before that one?
Yes.
I just can't remember who it was.
Yes. Well, let me rephrase that. They had a fumble return for almost 100 yards for Jerry Franklin against Vanderbilt,
which helped them win that game against.
Yeah.
It was like a 20-17 game against Vandy or something like that.
Yeah. And they may have had a pick as well, a pick six at that point, but that was kind of the first thing I remember was a big defensive play that went the yard. But what's funny too about that pick, that was the second interception in that same exact spot by the same exact throw and the same exact play. The only difference was the other player that got the pick, I don't know who it was, didn't return it for a touchdown, but
DJ Dean.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go, DJ Dean. So
yeah, Jarrell Norton in 2007, 100-yard pick six. It was against North Texas, though.
Oh,
Norton
still
I remember that. Yeah.
Okay, so Curtis, what was your official pick? Was it the Richardson in the back of the end zone?
Yeah, got to be.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. So my brother actually my brother who I'm here in Miami with, he went to that game in 2007 without me. And I remember my mom, I don't know why my mom wouldn't let me, but I was so mad. He sat next to that guy's family. And the whole game, it was like kind of cool. Like, oh, hey, we got this Arkansas DB's family sitting right here. And then, of course, watching that moment. So, like, he always talks about that. But that one's, like, tainted for me because of that. Grant Morgan's return against interception and return against Ole Miss is a classic. I mean, obviously, the Hudson Clark 3 interceptions were awesome. Yeah. The Grant Morgan one was the funniest of the game because he threw it right into the belly. If he had thrown it up here, Grant Morgan could not have gotten it, but he threw it right to him, and then he housed it back. That's a really good one. Monteric Brown against LSU and Garrett Nussmeier in 2021, that would have been. If y'all remember, Garrett Nussmeier came into the game they benched, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Max Johnson. I think they benched Max Johnson for Garrett Nussmeier, and he had a couple, insane plays in that game. And it was like, oh, LSU's got this young quarterback. He's now the hot shot or whatever. And then he gets into OT and he just makes the stupidest interception of all time that set up the Cam Little one, which is really good. I feel like I have more. I had like 7 before it was my turn, and now I can't remember, but I'm going to stick with Graham Morgan as my favorite interception of all time.
Yeah, I'm my honorable mention is any interception made by the no-fly zone. Just letting you know. So
I've got an underrated one, actually.
Okay.
So Nudie McLaurin had such a controversial Arkansas career, just from start to finish. From the day he got on campus, he was a controversial figure. Y'all will Curtis, you'll definitely remember this because you were in the trenches back then. Leading up to that season, his first year at Arkansas, I guess it would have been 2022, there was a huge debate about whether or not he was going to start over Malik Chavis.
Mm-hmm.
And Malik Chavis ends up like all fall camp running with the ones, and we're like, holy cow, is Dwight McLaurin really not going to start? The first drive he gets in, second drive of the game, just takes a pick back to like the 10-yard line. And it was just the funniest thing ever. Dwight McLaurin is one of my favorite Razorbacks of the last 20 years, just because he consistently found ways to pick balls off. Like, It's hard to be a ball hawk as a corner because you have to bait the quarterback into throw it. He was always so good at baiting those quarterbacks and just making the perfect angles on that stuff. I think he led the SEC in picks that year. Dwight McLaurin had some really fun interceptions.
Always in trouble, but always a threat out there. It was crazy, man.
He's a gamer, dude. That's what he is. I think he was just a bad practice player, but then he'd show up in the games and he was just like, I can bait this guy. Let me do it.
Also, for the food side of things, we'll get to your chats, but what is the best seafood item, guys? Because today is National Oyster Day, and it just made me think, which I hate oysters. I don't like them. Yeah, but as far as just seafood in general, what's the best seafood item?
Does it have to be like a particular? It can be any item, or does it have to be like a fish or something?
Yeah, just like when you think of seafood,
so like I can say crab cake.
Yeah,
and that counts. All right, love me a crab dip, crab cake, anything like that is hard to beat, man.
Y'all know I got to go with the mud bugs. You know I got to get them crayfish out there, man. I love a good. Now, obviously, it's in the right context. You can't go to a restaurant and be like, "Give me a bowl of crawfish." It has to be in the context of your buddy cooking in the backyard. He's boiling the stuff himself. He's pouring the Zatarans in there. It has to be that setting. My honorable mention is, of course. Well, John, you go first, actually.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, there's 2 types of proteins that I can eat in any way, shape, or form they're prepared. One of them's chicken, and the other one's shrimp. So to me, shrimp is like, you can't mess up shrimp as long as it's, cooked. But to me, that's that. But if I'm getting specific with shrimp, I love some shrimp scampi. I'm a big shrimp scampi fan because I like butter, apparently. So yeah, that's probably what I'm going to go with.
I love shrimp. Shrimp is really my act. Like, shrimp is the thing I order the most at seafood places. Like, whether it's grilled, boiled, fried, it doesn't matter to me.
All right, Bubba Gump.
Shrimp, but I didn't want to say it because, that would make me look like an idiot. So I'm glad that John took it as well. I can't believe nobody else said this. Salmon is if I had to eat a fish, it's like, hey, I'm going to a fancy seafood place and like I got to order something cool. You can't get the fried shrimp at a fancy place. I would get me just a solid salmon.
I'm going to be honest. There's only one fish that I actually like, and it's catfish. I'm not even a salmon fan. Yeah,
I do like catfish.
I am stunned that you're not a salmon guy.
Yeah, I'm not a salmon guy, not a tilapia, none of that. Like, it's not to say I won't eat it, but if I go to a seafood restaurant and I'm looking at the menu, I'm not going to be like, give me the finest mahi. It's like, no, give me some shrimp, some crab, some lobster. I like the dirty, like you said, Kurt, Andrew, the dirty mud bugs and dirty stuff. That's what I like. The stuff that you got to deturd and make sure that it's out before you cook them.
I feel like catfish is also along the lines of like, it's better if it's cooked at someone's house. Like if you're at a catfish, like a fish fry or whatever, like I feel like it's better in that setting than it is at restaurants.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it depends. Like we went to, because wasn't in San Fran, did we go to seafood place? Was that seafood?
Yeah. We went to that one that was like right on the water.
Yeah. So it's like, you go there, I could try the fish there, and maybe get down with it. But if it's, no offense to this fine city and establishment or anything like that. But if I'm going to Sheboygan and you have a seafood restaurant, I'm probably not going to be like, hey, give me the fresh caught fish from 5 days ago. And I'm sure it's going to be great. Like, just not going to happen. Also, before we get to the chat, the entertainment side, it's very simple. What's the scariest movie of all time for you guys?
Bro, I do not get scared with movies. It's kind of my thing. I
Mhm.
love a horror flick though. I will say the ones that make me uncomfortable or freak me out that I can remember like Hills Have Eyes freak me out, man. You know, Devil's Rejects. Yeah. That one was not a lot of fun. I think I've told this before on this show, or at least you guys. But one of my best friends growing up passed smooth out watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre when they did the remake.
Oh my gosh.
2003, I think, when they put out the new one. And yeah, he just couldn't handle it. Passed out. I thought he was being an idiot. He like fell in my lap. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? And then I was trying to pick him. I was like, oh, this is dead weight. Yeah, just he dropped. He couldn't handle it.
Man,
So-
see, that's funny because I'll let you go, Andrew. But I was just saying, like, I also don't get scared. I usually hate scary movies, so my answer may be a little bit odd. But anyways, Andrew, yes.
Well, I'm kind of along the same lines. Like I'm not above getting scared. I haven't watched a ton of movies over the last decade or so that have just really got me shook up, you know? Like I also don't watch scary movies a ton. But when I guess I was maybe 13, 14, maybe 12, I went to go see Insidious in theaters. And I've actually since rewatched Insidious, and it didn't scare me a ton. But when I was that young, I did not sleep that night. And I remember I actually went downstairs and like was like on the couch because I was like, I want to be close to my parent. Like I had a room upstairs, and I was like, I actually want to be close to my parents' room just in case I need to sprint in there or whatever. I was terrified of Insidious, and I was really worried that I was going to get possessed. I thought it was like a real threat for me. I took a girl on a date to see The Conjuring 2, and she made me like open, like, you know, she was nervous on the way to the car. She was like, can you come to this side of the car and open the door? I'm like, relax.
Yeah. The only time I can remember walking out of you walk out of a theater after watching a horror film and you're just kind of like, I don't know, like the hair on the back of your neck is standing up or whatever. I remember going and seeing with a buddy, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. I just walked out there and I was like, that was crazy, bro. I didn't like that.
Yeah. Well, it's not even a scary movie because they usually here's what I hate about scary movies. If they have one that's decent, they make 18 and I'm like, stop. Like, do we really need another Saw? Do we really need, how many times we got to visit the Nightmare on Elm Street? Jason with his act. Okay. We get it. Halloween. We got it. You know, it's just like, let it go. So that's one of the things that frustrate me, but I just never really took it. I will say The Shining was pretty freaky. That was a pretty freaky movie for me. Yeah. But I look at it in a different way because fear is more of the feeling I had when I left. This is going to get dark. Me and some friends made the mistake. It's a great movie. It's a great inspirational story, but we made the mistake of going into the movie theater and we were just trying to find a movie to watch. And there was some certain time we watched United 93. Not the happiest movie of all time. In fact, the most depressing ending of any movie. If you haven't seen it, again, it's rough. It's rough. It's kind of like watching Passion of the Christ. It's like story, but I get it you get one watch from me and I'm done. I can't do it anymore. So it's like, those are the types of movies that I'm not saying they're scary, but they're just kind of like, they make me have a feeling where I'm like, all right, The Revenant, great movie. Saw it once, no more. I'm done. So that's kind of how I look at it. Maybe I should have worded the question of what's the greatest movie that you've only watched one time? Because I don't know if anybody else feels that way like I do, but there's certain movies where I'm like, okay, I saw it. I'm good. That's fine. So
there's some movies that you need to like the not knowing what's going to happen is like obviously scary movies. That's kind of the big premise of it, the jump scares and all that. So there's some movies that like actually are useless after you've seen them the first time. It's like you can't get that back.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, for sure. For sure. All right. So let's get to your chats here, folks, before we roll out of here. Sorry, I was about to click on something. I was going to regret it immediately. Shout out to Witty. Appreciate the super chat. He says Fish City and Rogers has amazing redfish meal right now.
Interesting.
I've heard about it. I've heard of Fish City. I wanted to say they had one in Fort Smith. I could be completely lying about that.
FCG.
Yeah, but maybe they did. Also, Witty says
I get Fish City and Eat My Catfish mixed up all the time.
It's funny is I get Catfish Hole and Eat My Catfish mixed
really?
up. Yeah. So, which, as I've said before, nothing against those fine establishments, but the fact that Arkansas in the state does not have the best catfish restaurant known to man is a shame, because Arkansas is not known for any specific food, but to me, catfish is right there, like ready for the picking. There needs to be one, at least one, that everyone's like comes in from the out of state. They do some on the Food Network. They're like, we've got to try this place. So just saying that. Fishman, Super Chat, appreciate, says The Terrifier, the most gory movie in history. There's a difference to me with gore and scary. Like gore,
Yeah,
it's kind of like, okay, you're just, it's like jump scares. It's like, okay, yeah, you're trying to do something there. But to me, scare and fear is very uniquely done, and it's really tough to do. It's like having an action movie that is, not just explosions and stuff. It's like good because it's well written and well done, and it makes you feel a certain way. So it's tough. Yeah. Mm-hmm. James says Curtis crab cake at Farrell's on Dixon is amazing.
Noted.
Yeah.
I've only eaten at Farrell's once with Andrew, I think. So
did we even eat there?
Yeah, we did.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't get the crab cakes, I guess.
Remember the hammered dude at like 2:00 in the afternoon gave us his business card.
I still have his card. Yeah, might give him a call.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we may be able to check it out. But I believe it's called it's at the Red Oak in SARACEN Casino. One of the best meals I've ever had. It's a crab ball, I think is what it's called. It's an insane thing where it's a crab cake, but they say it's 92% crab. Like it's full and it's massive and it's amazing. So next time we go down to Saracen, and we'll have old Carlton get us into the Red Oak, and we'll have a day on it. It's amazing. Let's see. Some of these chats are from earlier in the show, but we'll get to those. Is this our former guy Landon? Or former intern Landon? Not sure.
I don't know.
Gotta be, right?
Yeah, he says, taking lunch at the old corporate job. Enjoy listening to y'all during my 1 hour of freedom. Can't wait to spend my paychecks on Hog Money Line week to week.
Had a baby.
Listen, Landon was easily how many interns have we had total over the years? Like 6?
Well, it depends on they had to make to a certain threshold, I feel like, to like a certain week. But
I feel like Landon's in the top like 20% for sure.
In the top 2, of the interns we've had. Let's see. Also, Ramil says, Inside Arkansas Fan Day, random people from crowd can play 3v3 basketball against John, Curtis, and Andrew. That sounds like a disaster.
I mean,
it wouldn't take long for y'all to be able to knock us off, I feel like. We'd get worn down real quick.
Yeah. Like, not only that, but I know whatever, if we play pickup of any sport and anything, it's going to be fine, dandy. Everything's going to be great. But the second that there's like an audience, or if it's being live streamed or something, I know my MCL is just going to explode. And I'm going to be on the ground first play. Everyone's going to be like, talk sports, can't play sports. Yeah, shut up.
I'm just banking on all y'all listening, not being very athletic.
Yeah, which is possible.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on who shows up,
That's right. Let's see. Finch says, my wife, are we really going to be listening to these guys all week on the speaker? Me, without a doubt, yes.
Where did Finch say he was at? I know he's on like some type of trip, but didn't he say somewhere where he was at?
Yeah. Where he is?
I don't remember, honestly. But
you don't have it listed, Finch's vacation spots? You don't have them memorized?
Not on my Post-it notes in front of me. No.
Lady Finch is going to love us by the end of the week.
Yeah. We'll wear her down for sure.
Yeah. It's the thing is, that's always the weirdest thing. I think you guys have probably had it too. The very few women that will come up to us to be like, hey, we listen to you. Almost always it's because they're almost like hate us. You guys are like, you're the voice I hear every morning, and my husband has to listen to me. I'm trying to sleep my hangover off, and blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, okay, so sorry.
We got one of those at the TCU game that was hilarious.
Right before I caught that awesome foul ball against Creighton that day at Baum, there was a couple behind us, and the guy went to the bathroom. And when he went to the bathroom, his girl or his wife was like, hey, he hasn't said anything, but like he loves you, huge fan of y'all's work, like he loves listening to y'all. And so when he got back, I was like, dude, were you just not gonna say anything? Like what's up, dude? It kind of embarrassed him a little bit, but I always appreciate that.
Let's see. Smitty says, I'm having a heavy hitter for lunch. It's a Celsius, but tastes like a high noon.
Careful.
Yeah.
Careful, man. I did my research after the show the other day, and I guess that is kind of a thing. So
yeah. Just you're gonna end up tore up from the floor up on those Celsiuses, man. Hurting for certain. Let's see. Trey, if we talked about, Curtis has already gotten under the skin of Kentucky fans today.
I just live under their skin. My favorite bit that Kentucky fans do is if I tweet something just about Arkansas basketball, or today it was post an emoji after they did the rankings update. And then Kentucky fans get in my mentions. It has nothing to do with them at all. And then when I respond, it's all a BBN saying, you're obsessed. You're obsessed. You assholes are in my mentions, bro, all the time. It's unbelievable. I live under their skin. I love it. And it's going to continue to be that way.
Well, and speaking of that, not Kentucky, screw them, but the women's SEC basketball schedule came out today. So by rule, would that mean tomorrow more than likely?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Men's SEC. I can't wait to be pissed about it. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Because, Arkansas's got a great home schedule. They had a bad one in SEC play. Well, not bad, but definitely not as good. This year, it's going to be better. And every game, they're going to have that Kentucky game at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday. They're going to have Auburn coming to town on a Tuesday, 8 p.m. But then on Saturday, you're going to have freaking Missouri and LSU and South Carolina and like all this crap. I just know it's going to happen that way.
That's an absolute fact. They will find a way to screw that up with the Kentucky deal. And if they don't, we're definitely going to get the thing where Arkansas randomly gets a 3-game road swing. It's like, oh yeah, it's the only 3-game road swing in the SEC. They got to go to Bama, to Auburn, and to Florida, over the course of a week before they get back home. Yep. It's gonna happen for sure.
Or it'll be at the end of the season, like to finish it like that one year. It's just like, all right, here you go. Arkansas, you're in the mix for something. Here's the 3 toughest games of the season at the very end. Yeah, just give it to them. Let's see. David wants to know, Andrew, do you know who Ren and Stimpy are?
I don't think I do.
Oh, okay. Well,
do you know who they are?
I do.
Who are they? Are they? Is it like a?
It was one of the OG cartoons on Nickelodeon. It was a part of Snick, which was Saturday nights on Nickelodeon. It was, golly, this is my age. It was 4 shows, and it was started with Clarissa Explains It All with Melissa Joan Hart. Then it was the show Roundhouse, which was cringy 90s dancing. Then was Ren and Stimpy, and then was Are You Afraid of the Dark, which was supposed to be scary stories. So
before my time, I fear.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's bad. Okay, a couple more here before we roll out of this. Those Band Geeks says, was listening to John's Locked On podcast with steps being so important. You think marching band kids would make a good route runners? Most of them are surprisingly in shape. No. And
are they 6'3", 200?
Listen, Band Geeks, we appreciate your membership that you just signed up for today, but I swear to you, I will ban you. I will ban you to the depths of hell if you come out here and say the real athletes perform at halftime. If you say that crap, you're done. I'm being honest. So don't be that guy. All right. And then finally, Hayden just says, Curdy Wilkes is a hilarious name. Who's going to be Johnny Nabes and Andy Ellis?
That's a great question. They're up for grabs.
Listen, I've had enough of the parodies. Do Andrew for a second. I feel like Andrew hasn't had really many parody accounts. I've had too many.
I am kind of disappointed I don't have a parody account.
Yeah. You need a parody account.
You know what? A few years ago, like 4 years ago, Mason Choate told me, he was like, dude, I think I might make an Andrew Ellis out of context account. And I thought about that. And I'm like, you know what? It actually would be sick, but I can't make my own.
Yeah. Well, between, what was it? Black Neighbors. That was one for a while. And, I don't even know if it was a parody, but the one that had me as a woman and then eating a hot dog, like the AI stuff, it's just out of control. It's just truly out of control. So anyways, well, fellas, any final thoughts before we roll out here for the day?
Yes, I do have one final thought. Let me find this. Okay. I just want to acknowledge, I saw this from Raising, says, I need Curse's opinion on Bleacher Report's new 2027 mock draft. I just looked at it. Watch the Pod of the Palace tomorrow because I have to talk about this. This is some crazy stuff in there. So teaser alert. We're going to talk about it for the pod tomorrow. Thank you for that.
Love that. Well, my final message is to our beautiful listeners, all of them. I want to look directly into the camera when I say this. There's a lot of bad things on this planet. There's a lot of hate in this world, but you matter, you're loved, and you have a place here. Have a great day.
It's okay. All right. Appreciate everybody listening in and watching in Inside Arkansas Live. Be sure to subscribe to us here at Inside Arkansas on our YouTube page. You can also check out all of our audio podcasts, whether it's Inside Arkansas Live, Pod at the Palace, or the Bombastic Podcast, wherever podcasts are found. And we are going to keep it going from there. So for that goes for Andrew Ellis as well as Curtis Wilkerson. I am John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow at noon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you then.